Welcome to episode number 79 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, my host, Stephen Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins. Ben Wilson at Our Trading Cards and Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. You know what, guys? I got those wrong. It's Stephen Loeffler at Twins Junk Wax. Ben Wilson at Trading Our Cards.
That's right.
And Tim Shepler at 79 Big Shep. So
69 Big Shep.
Anytime you want, baby. Just to give you a heads up, that's those are the real ones. So if you want to follow those accounts, that's where you need to be. But welcome in.
Yeah, stay tuned, and we'll explain why we said that later for anybody that's not necessarily on Twitter.
Yep. Happy New Year, by the way, 2020. It's 1/1/2020. We're rocking the first show of the year.
Can I just say that last night's New Year's Eve party was the best in hindsight?
Oh, yeah? What'd you do?
Hindsight in 2020. Just let it. Poor dad joke.
That's got to be one of the most stale dad jokes ever.
Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Overcast, TuneIn, wherever you can find a podcast. Check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. Find us on the Flick Chat app. And then some sad news. We lost former NBA Commissioner David Stern today. He passed away at 77. About 3 weeks ago, or so almost 4 weeks ago, he suffered a brain hemorrhage at lunch. In his 30 years as commissioner of the NBA, though, the league exploded. I mean, you had Michael Jordan come on scene. You had the international, just the dream team. All of these things, expansion came to the league. The TV, blew up. I think the league kind of died down in the mid 2000s, and now we see a giant surge again in the league with all of these stars. And I think I heard 25% of the league now is foreign-born players, something to that effect, which is amazing. And a lot of it is to his credit. He was the commissioner for exactly 30 years. He retired 30 years a day and then handed over the reins to Adam Silver, who's got some interesting ideas. So, and David Stern, he saved my Sacramento Kings. He was very instrumental in making sure the Kings could stay in Sacramento. He helped them get to Sacramento from Kansas City. So, David Stern, thank you. We also lost Don Larson today, who pitched the only perfect game in World Series history today. He died at the age of 90. He was a big-time Yankee legend. I mean, a perfect game in a World Series, that's ridiculous. Yankees, Dodgers, I mean, doesn't get better than that, right?
For the era.
Yeah. Did you guys have we've been gone. This is our first show in 2 weeks. We had the Christmas break. Any hobby-related awesomeness that came your way this holiday season?
Not that I can think of. No, not really. I have a ton of cards to sort. That's like a tenth of what I have left to do. And I guess I have some supplies on the way.
Yes,
from some guy.
A big giant box. This was given to me. An on bat George Brett autograph.
George Brett.
It's even got BGS, Beckett authentication on there. My sister's boyfriend, well, I guess now my sister's fiance, as they got engaged in Tahoe today, gave me this bat for Christmas, and I damn near cried. It was pretty amazing.
I have a quick question. Who is George Brett?
All right, and now we're down to two hosts. There's a show host
George
opening.
Butt.
Yes. Anyway, so that was pretty amazing. Troy, thank you. Welcome to the family. I think you're nuts for hopping in with us, but hey, we're fun. So, Korean Cardboard, he said he was gifted 2 packs of Gallery and a box of 19 Topps Heritage. Very nice. Very nice. Heritage. I love Heritage always. I'm excited for next year's Heritage. Topps, the week that was last week's releases, we have 2 weeks of Topps Living 90, week 93.
George Butt.
Yeah, whatever. Week 93, card 269, Luis Castillo, the Cincinnati Reds. He sold 2020. One.
Nice.
Card 270, Jonathan Losagia, rookie pitcher of the Yankees, sold a little over 2,200.
I think it's like Loasaga or something like that.
Loasaga, something to that effect. But that was 2 weeks ago. It's not terrible. And then on Christmas Day, we received a present from Topps, week 94, card 271, Carl Yastrzemski, Hall of Fame outfielder, Boston Red Sox.
What was his last name?
Yastrzemski.
You kind of stuttered through that the first time.
Yeah. And card 276, Mike, his grandson, rookie outfielder of the San Francisco Giants.
What's Mike's last name?
Yastrzemski.
Yastrzemski.
You're saying that way wrong.
Whatever.
I think it's cute, but you're saying it wrong.
How do you say it?
Yastrzemski.
Yastrzemski. Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
everybody knows him as Jazz, so whatever. Check out at Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall, respectively, in the set by team and by position. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Get ready, guys. It's a big one. Topps Living Week 95, card 273, Lucas Giolito, pitcher, Chicago White Sox. And then card 274, Kenley Jansen, home run giver-upper, pitcher, Los Angeles Dodgers. And then look at those photos, folks.
I wonder if they're up yet. Let me go look.
Look at those photos. They look great.
I thought Topps did a great job with the Yastrzemski release for Christmas. Why wouldn't you do something, knowing that a lot of attention is going to be away from the hobby with the holidays, people traveling and whatnot, to have a very iconic duo, grandfather, grandson for Christmas. Mm-hmm. I thought they would have done something strong equally this week with two legends or two big names, and they
can't even get a picture out.
It just seems like they punted. I mean, not to take anything away from Giolito or Jansen. They're
whatever's.
They're respectively good, but as a duo, it just seems like they punted. We're going to see the first sub 2,000.
Wait, real quick, did these prices go up on the cards?
They did, yeah. They're a little more expensive now if you're buying directly from them.
Huh.
Yeah, they're a little more expensive.
Why would I want to buy directly from them now? Like, really, $8?
Yeah, I buy from Topps Living Stat.
Yeah.
Real
quick,
Twitter.
Some other things here. Theodon was gifted a O-Pee-Chee Prism. Let's see, here we go. O-Pee-Chee Prism Baseball and some other packs from retail. KBO Collector got just his draft Sapphire and pulled an Adley Blue. That's pretty awesome. He also got Theodon got Absolute Memorabilia Basketball, which is awesome. So, look at this. I found a 2-row box full of 40s and 60s stars of my stuff. Mays, Rookie, Mantle, Koufax, etc., and about 1,000 Clemente. That's
okay. You win the internet for the day.
Yeah. Wow. My address is.
How about we share?
Yeah.
Come on, we share. And
Mother's
you'll get
maiden name, your address, name of your first pet.
Whatever we need.
You will get a shout out on a future show.
Yes.
Just for a couple of those guys.
2019-2020 Panini Contenders basketball drops on Friday. $300 a box, 10 packs per box, 12 cards per pack. You're going to get 2 autographs. The set highlights. The highlight of the set is the rookie ticket autographs. There's also Chrome versions this year, similar to Contenders Optic. So basically, Contenders Optic in there. There's a gold out of 10 and a gold vinyl 1 of 1, and then they're going to have some retail shimmers that are exclusive to retail, like I said. And then what's new this year in retail only is the rookie season ticket stickers. According to Panini, the 20 players featured on these cards are different from the rookie season tickets that are found in hobby packs. So more confusion and more fun for people that have to identify cards. License to Dominate and Permit to Dominate are both short prints and both set up to look like a driver's license.
Permit, not perment. That does look kind of cool. I'll give him that.
That's a pretty sweet card. Somebody's having a tough time talking tonight.
Hey, I've had a week off and had a few beverages over the week, so
So what about the other 78 shows?
Well, English is my first language, and I'm still learning.
Your
That's all right.
keyboard disagrees.
It's all right. We've all learned to love you. We accept you for what you
Hey,
are.
I probably the best guy I can be right now.
I'm gonna agree.
That's all we ask.
Yeah. I probably try harder than most.
That license to dominate, if they made a San Antonio Spur, almost makes me want to get one.
Sure.
And that's saying something because I don't really. Although I gotta shout out Tony. I think I said this. Our friend Tony, Tony's Hobby Vault sent me a bunch of the Prism Spurs, which is cool. But to like actually go out and buy one, that license to dominate's a pretty cool card.
By the way, 5 foul 5 ball. I got a 2019 Topps complete set for Christmas, just like every year since '85. That's legit. That's awesome. Love it. What's brewing next week's releases? 2020 Topps Archive Signature Edition Active Player Edition. Yeah, read that. Topps Archive Signature Series Active Player Edition. Yeah, next week. Ben, I know you've been saving up. You can't wait to buy those TTMs, and we'll talk about that next week because that's the one release next week.
Right.
Yeehaw.
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that my refinance goes through because I refinanced my house specifically to buy some of that.
Oh, nice.
So if it doesn't go through,
I've got
I'm
to
gonna be
say,
extremely disappointed.
absolutely love some of the designs they've had this year, and that and the license to dominate is just another one. So you got a cereal box, you've got a comic book, and just a retro looking card.
So personal
and now
question:
the license.
if that kind of stuff was done with Topps Archives or something, that'd be really fun, right?
You could do a post cereal cutout.
Lenticular, like
salivate.
the lenticular set that they did. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so the Infield chat or our Hobby Talk section will be full. I just want to remind you the new podcast that's out there.
I'm on my lunch break.
at
the Mike Summer, Wax Pack Hero, the Sports Card Minute. So check it out. I think he has 3 episodes out now, and he's also available on Apple, on iTunes now. So check it out. It's a good listen. He talks about making money and taking that money in the hobby to fund your hobby and a bunch of different topics. So it's a good. And we love Mike. If you've watched the show, Mike's been on here before. There's a great article that was posted this month in Sports Collectors Digest for podcast for sports card collectors and are plenty. It was by our buddy Brian Flynn. It covers quite a few of the sports podcasts available, and we were lucky enough to be included. Go GTS Live, Fat Packs, That Sports Card Show, Sports Card Nation, Let Me Get the Potograph, Breaker Culture, MojoBreaks, The Hive, Wax, Ecstatic was included, and they interviewed most everybody. Had a little blurb, which was pretty cool. I know the 3 of us did. Yeah. And we're hopefully going to get a few hard copies of this, maybe do some fun things with them. But
I know we interviewed him briefly too, and that's in the show archives at some point.
Yeah, it's on the show page, and it was uploaded. I don't think it's a podcast, but on the website.
Right. A pretty good write up on each of us as well. Let me rephrase. Each of the podcast and then the people that are on them.
Yeah. And I think we got some of the bigger shout outs, by the way.
Of course.
It's an honor to be included with people like Eric Norton of Fat Packs. And then, of course, Rob Bertrand, who was one of the godfathers of podcasts, Cardboard Connection, who's now with Go GTS, and, Ivan Lovegren and Drew Herndon and John Newman and obviously our
Doug
boys over at Mojo.
Beckett,
what would happen if all these pods got together and did a weekly show?
One could dream that would be like the DC universe getting together, Superman and Batman, and that'd be like Marvel.
Having a Justice League.
That's a Justice League. There you go. That's exactly.
It might actually be a good Justice League.
So basically, more like Avengers like style.
I guess. I mean, like we have the power of, all for one for all.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
What if you could call in and talk to all of us? Like, call in your questions.
I don't know. We'll see.
Sounds like something else I've heard of.
Yeah.
Hello. Anyway.
But no, it was an honor to be included in Brian's piece. and to be mentioned in the same breath with all of the other shows, who we all listen to. Most of us have been on each other's shows, and it's just an honor to be a part of that group. There's like 10 big podcasts, and to be a part of that was a privilege. And
it really was. That was cool. So Cheap Fun Breaks is starting off the year right. Was opening some Transcendent, and he pulled a Babe Ruth bat knob cut auto.
Show off.
But what I find funny is he showed the picture of the one that was in the sales listing, and the cut auto is similar, but the paper is a bright white, and the Sincerely is more centered with the autograph. Like you can see where it says Sincerely. That in the bat knob, I think, was slightly different. So I don't know if it was just the way the preview was, but anyway, I mean, Babe Ruth bat knob and autograph is pretty flippin' amazing.
Sure.
Now that just got pulled out of Transcendent, like today,
like today or last night.
I think it was last night. Yeah.
So with 100 cases of that, why? I would imagine all that stuff had already been opened a long time ago.
Pretty close.
I wouldn't think that there would still be any of that available, just because if you're buying it at the price point that it's at, the assumption would be you're opening it immediately to try to get a quick return on, the money that you've put out. Most of, I know a lot of it ended up with breakers and whatnot. So that all
who's going to spend $30,000 to open up and your return on your $30,000 is going to be like 12.
Yeah, and I saw a couple broken, and I think you could probably on the secondary market at least break even or get close to it, if not make some money. That's without having a Babe Ruth bat knob to sell.
Yeah.
But I know I've had the cards for a couple weeks now, so I would have thought all that stuff would have already been opened and hit the market.
That's pretty legit.
I'll cover the next one here. Tim, check your phone.
Okay.
And then as well, where'd that window go? Where did that window go? There it is. A John Adams cut auto. Presidential.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, you could probably pay to get some of the more recent presidents, but to have something from 1780, 1790, 1800.
Well, they have one of the presidents that signed the Declaration is cool.
Absolutely.
You're talking about one of the founding fathers, not even somebody like at Lincoln through Truman or something.
Right.
You're talking about one of the top, top 6 to 8, one of the founding fathers. That's pretty legit. I would absolutely think that would be that's one of the jumbo ones too, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's 8.5 by 11 or to that effect.
Is it really that big? I would have thought more like 5 by 7.
Let's see if I have any other.
Those are really interesting looking, though. I've seen a couple of the jumbo ones, and
I guess for comparison, yeah, maybe it is 5 by 7.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think it'd be an 8 by 11. That'd be a huge card, but
for a tiny cut auto.
Yeah,
still cool.
That came out of the same case.
That's what they were implying, I think.
If that's the case, that's ridiculous. To be able to
that definitely returned quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, single case.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Well, outstanding. Yeah, no, that's pretty legit. So there's also another good podcast that just kind of started up recently, Wax Museum, and he tweeted out something, the same photo, and I thought this was funny because I looked when I had these cards in this guy's card in hand, and I was like, wait, this guy's been in the league a while, and he's played on this team a while. What the hell is going on? So they used the same photo in 3 releases so far. So he tweets out, at Panini America, this is lazy. He's been on the Thunder since 2013. Talking 9 seasons now. Do better. It's a picture of a 2019, 2020 hoops, Donruss, and Prism of Oklahoma City guard Andre Robertson using the same photo of him standing in the background, just wearing the jersey. Like this is like the press release or the press guide photo book, picture they take.
Right.
And They don't have an action photo of this guy playing in games. Like, this is lame.
Well, back in 2012, Yoenis Cespedes, who was a big focus of my collection at that time, had the same picture of him kind of going with like a thumb up in front of his chest, and Ginter had one, and then the next release, Archives, had the same picture with it a little closer, and it was super lazy, but it was like his rookie year, so it's like, okay, I could see maybe they don't have
I get that.
a bunch of them. But yeah, Robertson's been with the team since the Thunder made
seasons.
Since they made the finals. It's like I mean, he was back when Durant, he's rolling with Durant. He was their two guard back then, and it's like, you can't tell me you don't have another picture, just one more. You don't have to have three. Two would be fine.
Didn't realize I got muted. No, that photo's almost as old, is nearly as old enough for him to be in a Seattle uniform.
It's one of those ones like, hey, let's put Robertson on the checklist, and it's hey, wait a minute, do we even know what Robertson looks like?
The only reason I know it's from the last couple of years is because it does have the sponsorship logo on the actual jersey.
Yeah, the Loves.
Yeah, but dude, come on.
Buck uses it better.
Anyway, I thought it was funny. If you haven't checked out, he's a smart dude. His podcast is I've listened to a few episodes. Give it a shout or check out. It's pretty nice.
Wax Museum PC on Twitter.
Yep. 2020 Topps XFL football cards are going to come out soon. Our buddy Ryan Cracknell posted an article at Beckett. It's going to be a 200 card base set. It's going to have players, coaches from the new 8-team league. 24 packs, 10 cards per pack, 3 autographs. And Topps actually produced the set for the original league in 2001. So we'll talk more about that when it comes out. I think early first quarter or so of this year, I guess. So it might be a 1 year league again, so we don't know. But
do we know if Topps has an exclusive with them?
I don't know if they have the exclusive. The article didn't say.
That'd be kind of an interesting question to find out.
They might.
I would imagine.
Everybody else does.
Yeah, I imagine everything's exclusive nowadays. If Topps is doing it, then that's that.
Definitely.
Yep. I think that Ben, I think you sent this over. T206 set. It was a Facebook post by Robert Baker.
Is it that one photo?
Yeah.
Here, no, it's not. No, it's not the one photo of the 56 Topps and the whitey tidies and the guy's junk, and yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot to take in on New Year's Eve. But here it is. Here's my complete T206 set minus the big 4. Grades are 4 to 5. It's been a labor of love for the past 19 years. Enjoy, dude.
So that came out of a group that I think originally it was through the Tobacco Rose group, I believe, where I saw it. I did reach out to him, and I'm going to see if we can get him on the show because I'd love to talk to him about just the when did you start kind of question. How long did it take? And then see if he can give us a little bit of insight as to what it cost.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So Steph, who are the big 4 that he's missing?
So you probably got Walter Johnson. I think there's a second.
No, you're missing Wagner.
Obviously, Honus, Christie.
Honus. Nope. No. Do you not know who the big 4 are?
Tell me.
Okay, it's Wagner and Cobb, and then it's Eddie Plank and Sherry McGee. Because you got the McGee that was misspelled, and then Plank because it was only about 100 copies that were made because of allegedly the printing plate error, and then of course Cobb and Wagner are the big 4.
Well, it depends on how you define big 4.
That's the 4 that they've said. That's not us deciding that. Yes, Mathewson and Walter Johnson. There's plenty of other highly sought after Eddie Collins and stuff, but the big 4 are that. If you're trying to collect it, you're going to need a Wagner and a Cobb. You're going to need a Plank, and you're going to need a Sherry McGee.
Well, I wonder if this guy bought into the fraction of a sale.
Oh, it was a slice?
Yeah.
A hundo of,
Man, I got me a hundo. Oh, Cobb. So I guess Topps is now part of the CIA. They had a top secret release this holiday season. The purple update cards. So 2019 Topps Update Purple Parallels can be found only at Meijer, and there are 300 and something locations. and in the Power Cubes box for $21.99. So in this box of awesomeness, you're going to get 3 purple update cards, 2 autos, indoor relics, a hobby pack, 1 hobby pack, 2 factory sealed packs, 2 packs of triple play. They're still printing that shit, and 122 base cards of garbage. What looked like when I saw the guy open, I looked for a video on YouTube. The dude opens, like, gets his 3 purple cards, which are they were terrible. And then the base cards were you remember that 2015 set or 2016 Topps Chicago Cubs World Series set that they put out? It was that whole set. That was half of what was his 122 base cards.
Well, so if you're our friend Bo, you'd be excited.
Yeah. But real quick, so they did Series 1 in the blisters. Right. Series 2 did not have purples. And then they do update in this weird concoction of a thing.
So, yeah, our friend Chris Leroy hit me up privately. He's at Fat Boy Leroy. He's the one that provided the picture for us.
Yes.
And he listens to the show. Yeah. But yeah, he's like, hey, have you guys seen this? And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, it's in the Meyer cubes. And I'm like, is that one of those concocted, let's just throw a bunch of crap in a box that you see at Target?
Whatnot, yeah.
Yeah, they're the Fairfield cubes. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what they are. And then he sent me that photo. And like, what the crap is that? So while he and I are DMing, I hopped on eBay. And of course, if you type in 2019 update, you're going to have to do, minus Chrome to kind of weed out some of that. And there's a lot of purple parallels from the 1984 insert set. So,
and the
so there was maybe 50 or 60 listings, and they were all about 10 plus bucks. So the idea is if you spend $22, if you can sell the 3 purples for $10 a piece, you'll get everything else free. But it's just garbage. It's crap. And it's like, but it's unannounced.
In the video, the guy they're going through, I can tell you that Series 1 of 2018, he just got a Victor Robles rookie.
Yeah, the thing to me is like, what's the print run on those? How many of those are out there?
Right.
Well, like I said, there's only like 300 Meyer locations in the United States.
Yeah,
and it's mostly Central East Coast. So you're like, he got a Casey Weathers and some Kansas City relic.
So it's one of those things too. Is that as an A's super collector, if I'm paying $10 a piece, I think there was 9 A's on the update checklist. It's going to cost me $100 more or less to assuming that the Matt Chapmans, which there are 2, there's a base and then an all star. So it's like I'm not paying $100 for a parallel set.
Yeah,
not from update at least.
Meyer we have more than 240 superstores in 6 states. Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So,
and those are huge. Which so how many of those can even really fit on the shelf? My thought is, if there's 5 per store, you're looking at 1,250. There's 300 cards in the set. That means what the print run is 5 apiece.
Something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Like, garbage, hot garbage.
Yeah, it just sucks.
Terrible, stupid.
No good, very bad day.
At least announce it so we know. Yeah. So the people that
we're just gonna tuck it away.
Yeah, like with the whole
new Power Cube.
That new era crap that happened, at some stadiums when you bought a hat. At least we knew about it to where we could go reach out to friends in those geographic areas and say, hey, if you pull one,
right,
I need such and such card.
Have those and then the steel cards from Taco Bell. I was lucky enough that our buddy Ben Aguirre got the Royal and the Giant I needed because he was near Taco Bell in LA.
Taco Bell cards?
How they always have steal the base and they steal a taco?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, they released some cards like 2 years ago. And he happened to beat.
Right. I mean, I haven't fully eaten yet. My mind's all trashed.
Oh, well, that's okay. So I posted, I don't remember when I did this poll. It was a couple of days ago. Would you rather, which is one of my favorite games to play, 2019 Bowman Draft, Adley Rushman Superfractor Auto 1 of 1, or a PSA 3 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle for your $23,000.
I think you were thinking of Addison Russell.
Yes, Adley Rushman. Yeah. I ran a poll, 70 votes, and 1.4% said the Rushman, and the others said, "Hey, I'll take the." 98% said, "I'll take the Mantle."
So one person said, "I'm a troll."
Probably.
Nobody's taking the Rushman.
Yeah.
And when I first posted this, somebody, I had borrowed it from Facebook. Somebody had done a comparative, 23 versus 22. The Rushman outsold a PSA or a PWCC listing for a Mantle.
Oh shit! But that means it was even higher than it should have probably been. Probably trimmed and fluffed out.
One of those things where most people are going to say, "I'd rather spend it on this." True, but that's not the thing. If it's one or the other, but yeah, if you had 23 grand and you were forced to spend it only on cards, most of us could come up with 1,000,001 better ways to spend it than on a superfractor of some dude that's Matt Wieters 2.0, who's probably not even going to be,
Watch, he's the next Mike Trout, and we all look stupid in like 4 years.
Well, and our friend Examine Baseball, Nick Duante, had just said this week, had wrote a piece, I think, for Forbes, saying that Bobby Witt's going to be the guy from this draft class that you're going to want to go get. And I'm like, whoa. Didn't the Rushman just sell for $23K? It's one of those things that if Nick's right, then this is, this is just the flavor of the week. And I guarantee you that card depreciated extremely well overnight. That card had to drop from 23 down to like 15 to 18 the second that eBay listing closed.
Yeah. But again, Cracknell, he provides such good content. I mean, you guys need to be following him, reading his articles on Beckett. He highlighted that Beckett's top 10 cards for 2019, and I don't want to steal his whole article, but he had some good ones, and I'll hit the three big cards he listed on there. Number 3 was the 2019 Top Series 2 Vlad Guerrero short print, the no number card that was 700. The number 2 was the 2019 Top Series 2 Pete Alonso rookie, number 475. So if you get a hint there, Series 2 of Topps this year was pretty good. And then the number 1 card for the 2019 was the 2019 Bowman Chrome Prospect Autographs of Wander Franco. But there are some fun cards on there. It's just not all high dollar cards. The Lindor card that's number 10 on that, I'd not seen that holiday Topps of card before of Lindor, but go read the article and check it out. It's a wonderful card, and it's one I think I'm going to go buy just because. Ben, have you seen the card?
I had not. I do have the Matt Chapman that has a snowman behind it, so I like the holiday cards, but I hadn't seen the Lindor. It is pretty cool. There was one surprise, and I'm not going to steal the thunder of Ryan's article either. There was a real big surprise when I clicked on it, read through it. I think it came in at like number 5 or 6. It was the Yankees one.
That one. That one. You know what I mean? I think you're talking about number 7 or number 8. That one is going to be interesting. That dude.
It'll be an interesting. It'll be interesting trajectory of where the card goes. I hadn't seen that card. I wasn't familiar with it. I was familiar with the signing. But when that one made the list, I was like, interesting. So
yeah, I'm just going to add an extra I into my name from now. By the way, now Tim.
So yeah, go check it out. It's a good article. There might be a couple surprises.
Oh, Steph, first. Call him Timmy.
What's up?
I said you heard it here first. Call him Timmy from now on.
Yeah. Steph will share out the link there to the article too.
I got it.
Thanks. It's great. And then, gosh, some of us in the holidays overindulge, right? Maybe have a pop or two. Maybe it's sometimes it snows where people live, or
my neighbors are still popping off rockets and shotgun shells.
Yeah, and in certain states are greener than others. In North Carolina, I just think there's something in the water. Platinum Breaks, dude, just his mind exploded the other day. My Twitter was just full of this moron. I've tried to watch. I've looked at it before, and it is ridiculous. And I think a lot of people in here know what's going on. But so just to give you a little backstory, customers unhappy with the way that the breaker packaged this card, and then he bought it from her. Her name was Rebecca for $600 just to do this. So Steph, I'm gonna roll the video. So it's a Lori Marketing Nebula from this year's Prism, and see how he's.
Got to give it a little play-by-play since not everybody's
going to watch
it.
He said the girl complained because when he put it originally into the one touch, he crimped the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the card. And she's like, this is a 101. Nebulas are very hard pulls, and was upset. So he bought it back from her for $600 just to cut it up and damage the card. Now, I was able to snag a video of when the card was pulled and went back to when they showed the card. So Steph, if you pull it up, I don't know if I tweeted it out. I'm sorry, I don't have it in here, but there's the picture of the card all cut up and his nice little post about it. This guy, first of all, I mean, I think he tries to cuss on purpose and use obscene language, just whatever, but to be entertaining. But I saw the card and it wasn't the one. There was space on the one touch on the left hand side where the card wasn't, and it was all sealed up and they're rushed. Oh, there you go. So right there, you see that big line. That means that card over here is pinched on a 1-of-1 Nebula just to get it on, so you can put a stupid sticker on the one touch and lock it up. And also too, wearing the gloves doing the breaking is amazing. And then our buddy Wax Museum, he made fun of this card. As he put a card in a one touch, and he had like ironworkers gloves on. He's doing it, and he's just trolling the guy, and he went nuts. And then he posted something on that the one I showed was on Instagram, but he shut off all of his commentary so he couldn't comment. And I hope this ruins his business because he seems to be a jackass.
There was a lot of people when our friend Ivan tweeted it out that people were like, don't give this guy any more pub. I saw it on a few different people's timelines, and they're like, the responses were, this guy's just craving attention. This is going to be great for his business. You're giving him all this attention. And I'm like, if you see what this guy does and you think this is good for his business, please, please, please go to your local community college today. Sign up for a business class, Business 101, because I hope you learn something. This is the exact opposite. This guy's getting nothing but negative. I mean, yeah, he's getting all the attention he craves. So if that's what he's after, but if he's looking for his consumer base to grow as a result, anybody that thinks that is absolutely naive, either naive or ignorant or both. Because
and so many people stepped up to back him, and I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, this guy's trashed this card just to prove a point and be a jackass. And then even some of the it was either Ryan or Colin came out, and I think it was Ryan, said we give all these guys, this product is so allocated, yet this breaker gets a fully allocated lot most likely when a struggling brick and mortar hobby shop maybe got a box or two. And it's true. Think about it, man. Think about being that hobby shop. And here's the video of Wax Museum slapping together. This was so awesome. Is it Jeff Foster, baby? Nebula. But think about being that hobby shop. You see that some jackass treating a card that way of product that you can't get any of, and he's just look at me, I'm so great, and that. And somebody asked KBO Collections asked about the auction. Yeah, the auction actually got taken down. The card had been listed on eBay and it was up to about $25,000, but it had been ended yesterday. So
yeah, I was going to say, wasn't it? Because if you read the description, it sounds like someone had just taken a picture of what he'd had.
Oh,
it was somebody else posting it, not the person who actually owns the card.
Because it said something about your. Picture. Yeah, did you have the actual comment? Because that was actually really, really funny. Whoever posted it, their description was absolutely brilliant.
Here we go.
It's Steph. Steph's always on the top of it. But no, it pisses me off because there's such good breakers out there. Right. And don't go and support this
Buffalo Bulls, 1879, 101 miscut checklist, Anime Expo, Your Mother's House, Platinum Card Breaks, no over 180 point. League is the WNBA, Lori Markkanen.
Yeah, it says this is an incredible piece to add to anyone's collection. It's a one-of-one nebula sliced into 3 perfect equal parts to increase the value, and you'll get all 3 unique cards in great condition. This was personally sliced by Platinum Breaks on New Year's Eve. He requested that people come to his house so he can slap their mother, which just adds the uniqueness of this one-of-a-kind set.
You know what it reminds me
Note, no mothers were harmed in the making of this post.
Brilliant. That made me laugh. You don't usually laugh out loud when you see stuff on the internet. You just say you did.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw that no moms were harmed, I was like, all right. Yeah. Whoever posted this was that's funny. Yeah. Platinum Breaks is a knucklehead. Our friend Rob Sports Cards in the chat on YouTube says that this isn't the first time he's thrown a temper tantrum. Hey, it's your money. You guys can do what you guys want to do. I would recommend, and I think
find somebody else. There's a lot of other breakers out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure even you would recommend this one particular breaker over him.
I probably would.
The one up in the Northeast that you don't get along with.
The other guy.
That guy would be you'd give him money before you would give this guy money, right?
I would, because although he and I had a personal issue that happened a few years ago, I'm sure enough time has passed that if he reached out and apologized, we could probably let bygones be bygones. But hey, if at the very least he never did anything that I know of to mistreat your cards, your hard-earned money.
Just people.
Yeah.
Just people with personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember when you destroyed this one card so Steph and I each could have a piece?
I did.
That's actually why I bring it up, because it kind of reminds me when someone just destroyed this perfect 1990.
So which there aren't very many of. Let's be honest.
That's true.
It could have been one of the printed in Canada variations.
Oh my god!
Or the one that has the dot or no copyright or
it was one of those things. I was like,
back.
I was going through all of my cards that I was trying to purge, and I was pulling out all the A's. I was pulling out anything I wanted that were sets and all this stuff, and anything that was Royals and Twins went this way and that way, right? And this one I did.
That's when I sent you those screenshots of the Willie Mays rookie, and I'm like, hey, this was in the box, thanks. And you go, dude, I didn't need to put that in there. Can I please get that back? And I was like, no, man, you gave it to me, thanks. You're like, come on, man, really?
That's right. But you got me. But yeah, I saw that card and I'm like, I'm sorry, but halvesies. Yeah. What I should have done in hindsight was send you the Kirby and send him the bow. But
yeah. So you guys like trash? Guaranteed trash.
I love trash. We were just talking about Platinum Breaks, weren't we?
Before.
Yeah. So at _Rathgub, Patrick Rathgub, I guess we'll call him Big Pete. At Penny America bought 8 blaster boxes of 2019 Contenders draft picks basketball at a local Walmart today. Out of the 8 boxes, received 1 auto and 7 Panini points. Wild guess, but some reason seems to be autos of non-drafted players and mostly Panini points. I'll pull it up here. Sorry, Steph. And then, and I was like, points allow Panini to add more, quote, content to releases to be able to meet the 2 autos per box and print more base, essentially being able to make more boxes, was my response. It's just like turning on the presses. This happened, we talked about this earlier at with what's his name, that card investor. Yes. He bought the Prism basketball one, and there's supposed to be autos in there, and he was just getting nothing but points. Like every box had points. It's like all that does is mean, okay, we can put 1 autograph in there and then 1 point, and then we can double the print run because now it's not it's not 2 autographs, it's actually just 1 and some random points that come out that are meaningless to us. And then on top of that, Vosbrink sends me a follow-up tweet and says, hey, if you're not following at Vosbrink, you need to be. Nick's great. Sends me a tweet, adds on and says, and they also charge you shipping when you buy the fucking cards with the points that they gave you that they didn't give you a card before. And really?
God forbid it shows up bent or dinged or damaged.
That's the biggest FU I can think of. Hey, we didn't give you an autograph. We gave you some shitty points in a product we overproduced. Here's that. Only on top of that, we're going to charge you $12 to send the shitty card you had to buy to you. At least when Topps screws you with a redemption, they mail the card to you for free and at least package it up kind of nice. And they do put that big dumb Topps sticker over the top, but it's also cool because you can say, hey, listen, this came right from Topps if you go to sell it. I haven't touched it. It's got the dumb Topps sticker on it. And it's in a top loader with a penny sleeve.
Time out real quick.
Oh.
We try to keep this show clean, and you went on to Ryan and Colin's show, the Sports Card Radio last week, the R-rated show, and now, after spending a little bit of time on the phone with Ryan, now you got the potty mouth.
I do a little bit. I'm sorry.
Saying.
I'm
sorry.
Supposed to be breaking the F's and S's.
But this makes me mad.
But I'm going to say this, because we're talking about Panini points. All the F bombs and S bombs and D bombs and B bombs are warranted because of Panini points.
Yeah.
The best video of 2019, real quick, the best video of 2019, Ben Aguirre's two kids and his nephew singing Panini points or poop. Panini points or poop. Hands down.
Which is basically what you did. You just did the R-rated version.
Well, yeah, because we can't. This show's not for children.
It's not for kids anymore.
That in 2020, about the cards can only be about children because it's three adult men talking about other men on cardboard.
That's right. And when we start talking about Panini points and Panini checklists, guess what? Poop becomes the S word.
But truly, does this not just piss you off? Because it tells you mathematically that they're just mass producing more of this shit because the only reason, and Dan and Doug talked about this, about Panini, and people were complaining about Prism basketball this year and getting a $2 auto in the box of cards, right? So you got like a Ralph Sampson and maybe a Rick Smith's autograph in your box, okay? I just made two players' names up that nobody wants to collect. But the reason being is you want to have those cheap, low-end autographs in there because you don't want them to say, okay, we'll just take out the autographs, therefore producing more base cards because in Prism basketball, the color is where it's at. The autographs, not so much. The relics, not at all. It's really like the silvers, the nebulas that we showed earlier, reds and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what people are after. So when they put these autos and those guarantees in there, it forces them to kind of stay within like, hey, we can't print too much of this because then we have to produce more autographs. So it helps out. With this, when they can insert the points into this, it's ridiculous. Yeah, Cardboard Icon's awesome. Involves his kids with all of his breaking. This is back May 9th of last year. But, and so at least they know, hey, we can't really, even though there's going to be a ton of Prism, this just pisses me off. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got a little hot. Apologize. Anyway, moving on. Variation question. So Steph brought this up in our DMs this week. Would you make a note which variations you have to collect others if you saw them in the wild, not obviously searching for them? So Steph, kind of explain that what you were getting after there.
What I was getting at, sure. No, so like I said earlier, I'm filtering through all of my boxes and trying to determine what all I need and what's duplicates and what's getting donated or traded or sent to CompC or everything else, and naturally, with a penchant for finding variations, I'm making notes on, well, I have this one, I need this one, I have this one, I need this one. But I was kind of curious if anyone else has this innate need, not necessarily to go out and search for, hey, I need 1969 Fleer, the Nettles with loop card. Because, yeah, sure, you'll pick it up if you see it, and you might memorize that, hey, there's something wrong with that card, that there's something there. But I was curious, like, if you're making your grand checklist or spreadsheet or Excel database, Access database, are you going to throw that in as a note or as a separate entry to, hey, I need to collect this? And if I see it at a show, hey, I'll pick it up. But I'm not going to go specifically digging around for it.
Personally, not really. The only anytime I do like variations of cards is just if there's like a short print, right? So like, we've seen in Topps when it might be a Buster Posey card, but it's replaced as a short print of Willie Mays or a super short print Posey in a different pose.
Sure.
That's the only time I've ever made any notations in them for my collecting. But if something strange came across my way and I was at a show and I was like, oh, I've never seen that before, like I would,
strange.
Yeah, I would pick it up.
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking, because not so much more recently or even vintage, but in the 80s, 90s junk wax era, where you might only have to spend a dime for it. Well, what's the harm?
Oh yeah, not at all. Yeah, but I don't have like a running total of which ones I have and don't have.
Well, you have like the 52, red and blackbacks. 56, you had the grays and the whites in 56.
And 50.
62, you had the green tint, and I don't think there was a whole bunch of the green tint ones, which just kind of looked like a printing error more than anything.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As a super collector, I've got to have those. But then you have something like some of the 87 Topps McGuire that has like a Rick Honeycutt back. As a McGuire super collector, yeah, I have to have that, but if I wasn't a McGuire super collector, I don't think I would necessarily write it down. If I found it, it was a reasonable price, I would buy it. But yeah, like all of the Upper Deck hologram ones that you've mentioned, Steph, in the past.
Sure.
But it's going through like some of like the mid '90 Donruss like silver signature and gold signatures.
Sure.
The way I look at it is the base. Yes, I think the silver signatures. I forget what year that is.
94, 95.
Yeah, they're not too expensive. Then the gold ones get a little bit more expensive. And the way I looked at it was, let me go on Sport Lots and see what it would cost to put together the team set.
I think I have those just for Brett.
Yeah, and if I
think it was 94, Brett had them, and those are the only ones that I have.
Yeah, it's like a 20 card team set. The silver ones were like $1 or $2 a piece. So I'm like, okay, and they were all available. Cool. I can go on there and team sets.
The gold ones are a little more difficult, if I remember right, for whatever reason. It didn't.
And I think they had like a third of the checklist overall, right? And they were like $3 above. And I'm like, now I'm talking about 60 to $90 on the low end. If I can find them all, that's where you draw the list.
Real quick, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I remember having this exact conversation with Steph one time, and he's like, "But they're ace cards, you have to have them." And I'm like,
it was a pre-show. It was a pre-show discussion.
It was. Yeah. And I was like, at some point you look at like this year's Prism baseball where there's 27 variations.
No, 45.
And how many do you get of a team set? Not necessarily a player.
You pick one color for a team set and run with it. If there's a team set color, like green for the A's, you roll with that if you can.
Or Independence Day.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess ultimately the reason I'm asking is not so much so that you know which ones you need, but like if you're at a show and you know that you have one or two from that set, but you don't know if you need Rick Honeycutt or Dick Pole or whoever, do you make that note?
Well, for me, I would have it listed. This is how I catalog it. I would already have under Honeycutt that I have one. So, even if I've got one of the 20, if I had that gold signature one,
right?
Even if I'm not pursuing the team set, I would be able to look under a certain player and go, "Oh, I've got this guy."
So as a
but that's me personally. So,
what do you guys use to categorize your stuff? Do you use a site? Do you use paper and pen? Do you use other electronic information of your checklist of your needs and wants?
This actually came up on my interview with my work. They asked me about my projects, and I said, well, and my checklist and whatnot. I was like, well, I have a huge Twins collection going on that I'm keeping track through an Access database that is connected to a server technology stuff going on in the background that I plug in every now and then, or if I'm going to a show, I'll plug it in and just remote in and say, do I have this card, bloop, 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 SQL information? Boop, enter. Okay, here's the results. Essentially what I'm saying is really fancy Excel page, but fancier.
What do you use, Ben?
Mine's in Excel. I've got it broken down into multiple tabs. I've got every Topps flagship set broken down and how many there were versus how many I have, which is a complete print run. and then I have it for every non-flagship, including all of the Topps ones, and then every other manufacturer dating back to 1909. I've got it all broken down by players on a separate tab. I've got all my 2019 lists, which is soon going to go onto my pre-2020 checklist once flagship comes out next month. And got all of them broken down by team sets I need to buy on a separate tab. And I've got all my non-sports. I've got all my complete sets on separate tabs. So my Excel database has everything in my collection start to finish. Every card is cataloged in some manner, if not multiple times. And that way, if Steph hits me up and says, hey, do you have any of the Black Diamond upper deck from such and such year, I can go in and say, I have the following players. And it's a 19-card team set, and I've got 12 of them, and these are the 7 I'm missing.
Yeah. So
I
have something similar. So here's my like Giants one that I've done, and it's an Excel. And down here I just have like the manufacturers that I'm going after, or the releases of Topps, Donruss, Fleer, and it just tells me when I binder them up what page and position they're in, and then the orange. This is giant orange if I need it. So in the Topps collection there are from 50. When did I start? 58 when they came to San Francisco through 19. There are 20,000 or 2,290 cards. And of which I have 1,286 of, which is 56%. I need 1,004 more. But I can go in here and mark them off, and then it adds up and lets me know where I stand. And so I have to go through the checklist. Like here's all the Donruss, and here's all the Fleer, which I need to clean some of these up. But that's what I've done. And then I'm going to end up linking these to my site so I can have them on the go and update them as I go. But
yeah, see, my checklist.
A lot of people ask us how we do that, and I wanted just to kind of share out and show what it looks like.
My checklist that took me about 3 years to build. I actually shared it with our friend Brian Bice and allowed him to kind of have, hey, here's what I have so far. You can manipulate it how you like. I think our friend Once a Cub, I think I sent it to him one time just to kind of see, show him how I did mine. In fact, a funny story about mine, I don't know if I've ever shared this on the pod or not, but it's been a while at the very least, was I used to have my player collection by first name, not by last name, for whatever reason. I thought that was the best way. And then I was like, you know what, this is stupid, and I want to redo it to last name before first name. And I was in the middle of trying to convert this in 2014 when I walked down the hallway and I look in my wife's eyes and she's like, just kind of nods, and I realized I'm going to not be able to do my A's card collection today because she's going into labor with my son Bentley. And we had a few false alarms, but this one was real. As I looked into her eyes, I could just tell, this is her first kid. And being female, that's where the pain comes in, right? It's easy for the guys. And I realized that day she was like, he's coming today. And sure enough, by 8:00 that night. So I was like right in the middle of converting my checklist. And I'm like, son of a gun.
I got stuff to do.
Can I throw this on the laptop? Are you sure this isn't a false alarm, sweetheart? And a couple hours later, it wasn't a false alarm. So, but good news was he came out healthy, and I completed the checklist a couple of days later.
This is the much more simpler version of what I'm talking about. So I have all of the top sets ever produced, card number, what type of set it is, the year, player, and the team that they're on. For checklists, I just put them under MLB, a generic heading title. But then, and because Google Sheets, you only have so many cells that you can work with, I have it where, for example, you can go Topps, and I have these for multiple different sets, not just base Topps. I have Donruss, Upper Deck, etc. And then you can pick, say, the Pirates. And I have notes on whether I have them or not. And as soon as it usually takes a refresh for it to cache all 50,000 entries, it'll pull up each team, each player, and what set they're out of.
And guys, if you're not Excel smart, which some people aren't, and I taught myself basically using the internet, trading card database is a great way to do so because they have a lot of these checklists up there. You can create a free account. You can go in and click what you have, and show them, and keep track of your collection there as well. So,
or this one, which will link in chat.
Yeah. No matter how you do it, whether it's for a player like our friend Dan, Korean Cardboard with his Mark Burley checklist, or if it's something stupid for people that have extensive team checklists. When I say stupid, just because it's huge and it's probably extremely detailed. At the end of the day, whether you do it by hand or you do it using a program, you're probably not going to get it right the first time. Lord knows I didn't until like the 10th time, and I still tweak it every once in a while. Just find out what works best for you with your personal collection, and ultimately, what do you want to know about your collection? For me, I need to know everything. I need to know what the card number is. I need to know what it's serial numbered, auto relic, if it's an insert set, just like a title, franchise favorites, so that I know if I'm looking a quick reference. But that's for me. Yeah. I want to be extremely OCD about it. Maybe you don't need to be that detailed.
Sure.
Maybe you want to add pictures, just depending on how deep and how fluid it is. Do whatever works best for you, and be open to the idea that you're not going to probably get it right the first time.
Sure.
And
I have like 7 versions of my George Brett one.
I'll be more than happy to email anybody my checklist. It's not proprietary. It doesn't have anything on there that's not other than some people's addresses, which I probably would not include that because that's private information that they've shared with me. But I've got that on a tab too. You guys like your addresses and stuff. That way I don't have to ask if I need to send something somewhere. But yeah, my checklist is, hey, if you want to use mine as a baseline, I'd be more than happy to email it to you as a guide of how I do mine.
So some fun, speaking of some name things we talked about earlier, at Trading Our Cards and at Twins Junk Wax and at 79 Big Shep here. It happened on Christmas Eve. It blew up. So there was a Twitter handle at @card_mojo that was like MojoBreak cards, something to that effect. So I'm going to have, because Ben was really involved with this. I was kind of out of the loop on it that day, but it involved our buddy Doug Caskey of MojoBreak, this other Twitter handle that was breaking cards. And so I'm gonna let Ben Ramble go through here and just kind of break down what happened and what the hell's going on.
Yeah, so I happen to be on Facebook on Christmas Eve, and I'm friends with Doug, and he kind of had this one. His message was "bruh," and it had a screenshot of this Twitter handle and said card_mojo, and it was called like Mojo Sports Card Breaks or something like that. And you kind of look at it a little sideways, like, man, that sure is awful close to MojoBreak. And at first glance, you might even confuse it. Like, did Doug and Dan break up, and now the other one is, choosing something super close, right? Dr. Pepper versus Dr. Thunder. And so I had put a GIF of Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger on Doug's post on Facebook, like, for Twins. And apparently somebody had sent Doug a message. And I want to say before we get started, some of the information we have is secondhand, and we don't have, we're not privileged to the private conversation between Doug and this card_mojo account. So we're just going to kind of give you a paraphrased part of the conversation.
Well, and two real quick to add to that, they did do a podcast last Thursday,
they did
26th, that went into some detail about this as well. So check it out. It's maybe 40 minutes into the show or so, 45 minutes into the show.
Correct. Yeah. And so Doug sent a message from somebody that's friends with him saying, hey, check this out. This guy's been around. Apparently he's breaking under this name, and he's been doing so since July. This was the first time Doug became aware. He contacted them and let them know, hey, those are protected IPs and trademarks with the Mojo, as it specifically pertains to cards and box breaks, everything trading card related. The guy behind this other account got combative and got a little defensive and wasn't really keen on changing his name right off the bat, claiming that he was unaware that Doug and Dan or MojoBreak even existed, and that he named his company, his business, after his dog, allegedly. Okay, fair enough. But
for what it's worth, he was using Mojo Sport Card Breaks.
Correct. And so Doug basically pointed out a simple Google search would have netted Mojo. They've been a top 2 to 3 breaker in the industry for 10 years now. So if you're in the industry, specifically if you're box breaking, odds are you at least know who they are. So according to Doug on his show, The Hype, the guy wanted Doug and Dan to talk to a local copyright attorney local to this guy, which I believe is in Alabama. I believe they declined. They don't have to talk to anybody, right? They own the rights. So I see all of this going on Facebook, and so I got a little combative. You know, I'm a little have a personal story, which I'll get to in just a moment, right? And I sent out a tweet blasting the guy for infringing upon our friend's IP and said that the guy needs to change it. Don't do business with this guy, so on and so forth, right? Because I like to get hot under the collar, right? His response basically to me was, you know, who the hell are you? And that I was unprofessional in coming to their defense. And it's like, dude, I'm not affiliated with them. And why would I be unprofessional if I'm just coming to a friend's defense? So I blast him back and illustrate that I'm independently defending my friends. I don't care who you are. You're wrong. Change the damn name. That's all. And years ago, I had owned a coffee shop, and it was called Beanheads. And back in 1999, it was subpoenaed with a lawsuit. Hey, you guys got a customer sick. And it's like, this is the first we've heard about this. And there was apparently another coffee kiosk inside a state building nearby called Bean Boys. And they got a customer sick, and she sued us thinking we were affiliated. We had to go to court and defend ourselves and prove that, hey, we're two separate entities. We have no affiliation. So, yeah, I'm a little biased and a little, you know, on edge when this kind of stuff happens. Because what happens if this dude goes into a break, takes your money, and then decides he's not shipping cards? And somebody goes on and says, hey, MojoBreak did this and that. They didn't ship cards. And all of a sudden, Doug and Dan's good reputation is on the line because people are going to affiliate everybody as one and the same. And to top it all off, Doug and Dan have had Mojo, Ohio, and other places in the past. So it's really easy to draw a parallel that this company is affiliated. That's why I said something. And at the end of the day, just change your name, right? So I said, hey, change it or we're going to blast you on our podcast. And he basically says, why is a big breaker so scared of a small-time Facebook breaker? And who cares about your podcast? And I'm like, well, not everybody listens to it. Cool. As I'm going up through this, Doug's like, you know what? Now 2 podcasts are gonna blast you. And there's like 9 of us, the big 9 that just got mentioned in Brian Flynn's article, right? He goes, well, we'll reach out to some of our friends too. And before you know it, all of the 9 podcasts are going to say something. Or get this, just change your name. And all of this goes away. Nobody's trying to hurt your business. Nobody's trying to do anything. You might be a really nice guy. You might be a reputable breaker. Your name is our name. You've got to change it. And so the guy just keeps going and going. He kept calling us unprofessional. He got more and more combative. And then our friend James Kikowski at Philly Puck Fan hops in, and he's a lawyer. And he basically says, look, I'm not your lawyer. I don't want to be your lawyer. I don't like you. This is unsolicited advice. But off the record, I'm just going to give you some free advice. Basically say, if you don't change the name, Doug and Dan are well within their rights to sue you. You'll lose your ass because if it's protected, it doesn't matter what state you're in, but you're going to end up losing your ass. So you might as well change it. And at this point, he basically blocked all of us. And then James says, he goes, what's funny is he tweets towards me. He goes, Ben, you and I are probably the 2 crankiest guys on Twitter. He goes, this Card Mojo guy and us probably would be really good friends because he seems like an asshole, just like us. He goes, the 3 of us would probably be compadres if we met him under different terms. He goes, but we'll never know because we're now blocked. And well,
now the Twitter account doesn't exist. So
yeah, the guy did change his name. We're not going to share his new name, but if you end up coming across it, you're welcome to do business with him. At the time all this went down, he had 32 followers on Twitter. I did look for his new Facebook page just to see. I can't find it. However, during, as we're going back and forth, I called him a little ass bitch, and he reported it to Twitter.
Oh, look at my feelings here.
I went on to Twitter that day on Christmas Eve, is 4 something, and I got suspended for 12 hours for using foul language and calling him apparently a name. And I wanted to tell Twitter, look, hey, he is one. I called him an accurate name. But anyway, And then I started thinking the irony of the fact that was my first Twitter suspension for that. Out of everything I've ever said on Twitter, that's what I got suspended for. So anyway, the good news was Doug and Dan got this guy to change his name. Life moves on. If you want any more personal information, from Doug's mouth, Dan's mouth, like you said, last Thursday they covered it on their show, The Hype, for about 10 minutes.
It just pisses off because I long before we had this podcast, long before I knew Ben, Doug and Dan were some of the first two guys I got to know in the hobby, and they are truly good people. They are nice. They are genuine. What you see on the breaks is who they are in real life, and they do this. One, they like doing it. They're good at it. They've been doing it a decade now, but they're upfront and honest with their customers, and I think they provide probably, to me, they're the best breaker in the business. And their prices, some people complain, say they're high, but people buy in and break because you know what you're getting. They aren't, they're not some fly by the night. Hey, we're breaking on Breakers TV, Facebook break, all this kind of stuff. They do it all the right way. They have all the right setup. And so you kind of pay for what you get with these guys, and they come through. So anyway, I'm glad that all got worked out. But it was crazy. I went through and I was so lost in it on Christmas Eve because I was doing 100 things. And I kind of wish I'd have been involved because I would have been right in there with you knocking. I probably got suspended too because
I would get suspended for any one of you guys, right? KBO Collections just said, that laughed at me for getting put in jail, Twitter jail. Dude, if somebody came up against George and tried to infringe, Dan, wants to cub any of the people that are in our chat room right now, anybody that we're friends with, absolutely, I'll be right there. I got your back.
What about the twice a cub?
I would absolutely. I'm going to start twice a cub.
Twice a cub.
Twice, 3 times a cub.
Twice, 3 times a cubby.
I just said that. I'm tired of agreeing with you, which we're going to get into in a little bit.
So
also,
disgusting.
It's like you and I have the same brain right now. But just one last thought. One last thought.
Don't you ever think my thoughts.
They actually help other breakers get better at it. The irony is laughable. It's like if this guy had just went to them and said, "Hey, I'm a new breaker. Is there any advice?" Doug and Dan would have helped them. But no, he stole their name and was an ass about it at the end of the day.
When I was looking to get hooked up with a distributor to get product and supplies, I reached out to them, and Dan, I was watching a break, and I asked Dan, and Dan's like, "Hey, send me an email here at Mojo, and we'll talk." He not only responded back and gave me all of the information of what I needed to do and the guy I needed to talk to. He actually contacted the distributor guy and talked to him and said, "Hey, this guy's going to reach out to you. Talk to him. He's one of our guys. All's good." And boom, it was awesome. And I mean, they didn't have to do that, but that's what they do. So, yep, I think twice a cub's been taken. Twice a cub. Sorry.
Well,
we're gonna. It's like the old days when the internet really got hot, and Arnold Schwarzenegger went and bought his last name.com and all the different potential spellings just to make sure that they were all protected under him. And now all of a sudden I know what Matt's going to do. Matt's going to go online tonight and start. He's going to have 83 Twitter accounts by tomorrow just so we don't have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, those guys are good people. They're the God, they're along the Godfathers,
They used to break to that. If you go back and watch the old videos, there's a promo of Doug doing like a promo in his bathroom. If you go back to their YouTube page and then go oldest and watch some of the first videos and breaks, I mean, he's breaking like in his apartment kitchen table with this like they went to the Target and they got the 3 folded thing you would do for a science project, and they just put stuck stuff to it that said MojoBreak as their background. It's wonderful because you get to see where they started from, and like that's how you watch our episode 1 and how awful it was, and where we are now and how we're not as awful. It's there. So
we're still awful. We're just marginally better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a man charged with selling bogus memorabilia containing phony autographs of sports stars and celebrities. So in Santa Ana, California, a former LA County resident now living in Mexico faces criminal charges alleging he sold millions of dollars of memorabilia that contained the forged signatures of sports stars, musicians, actors, and other celebrities. Anthony Tremaine, 51, formerly of West Covina, but now who lives in Tijuana. Wonderful. Oh yeah, here you go. Here's one of their first breaks. Check it out. According to the indictment, beginning in 2010 and continuing until this month, Tremaine operated businesses including Tremaine Enterprises and Timeless Treasures that sold memorabilia that contained forged signatures of celebrities and sports stars. He allegedly hired other people to forge the signatures. The phony goods were sold on the internet and were shipped via U.S. mail, FedEx, or other private carriers. For example, in 2013, Tremaine allegedly met with a buyer, and during this meeting, he allegedly sold for $100,000 approximately 100 memorabilia items forged, including Star Wars Darth Vader and Imperial Stormtrooper helmets that had forged signatures from the actors in the movie series, as well as posters from the Hunger Games Twilight movies. I think the Kardashians were involved. So they finally got one of these guys for selling fake memorabilia. And there was a bunch of different company names and things where he'd been dumping this stuff. So I think Steph just shared the link. So I'm glad they got this dude. But that's bad news if he used the U.S. Post Office, because that's federal. And,
I wonder if that's they didn't catch word of this guy because of that other major case that we had 2, 3, 4 months back, where the guy was selling obviously fake stuff through eBay and shipping through the mail, and the feds came down and popped him. Fake memorabilia, because there was a veteran police firefighter, whatnot.
Oh yeah. That guy there, that back on the East Coast.
Yes.
I
wonder if that's not how they caught word of him.
Probably,
because usually associates and they'll investigate associates as well.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, you give us a guide, and maybe we'll
let you sleep in a nice comfy bed instead of the regular flat mattress.
Yeah. So really good that they busted somebody like that. Steph's buddy here, former NFL player Evan Mathis, has been accused of card trimming. So there's an article on sportscardradio.com. News of the scandal broke on the Twitter blowout forum website. Mathis is accused of selling trim cards through eBay, consigners, PWCC Marketplace, Probstein123, and ComC. Most card trimmers are using these websites to sell questionable inventory. One of his old eBay accounts, CardQuest12, has left buyers feedback for a paper trimming dating back to 2017. Mathis has defended himself on a now deleted Reddit thread and posted a meme of O.J. Simpson of "The glove doesn't fit." You can check it out on Sports Card Radio's Facebook page. And one of the trim cards includes a 71 Munson. And there's some details here of in their article where, again, these guys are being able to point out exactly that is the card that they're showing, how it was trimmed or where it was trimmed or fixed. So, and this guy was set up at the National 2 years ago. He's a big Fleer basketball collector, and from the mid 80s was working on a sticker collection and a complete set set. I think all PSA 10s. And he's got he had a decent collection. I think he was on the Mojo, or he was on the Fat Packs podcast doing an interview. And he recently bought a card from Steph. We were going to reach out, maybe have him on. I don't know if he's going to do anything now because this stuff's come out. Yeah. So not involved maybe with the best people, and the fact that this is coming out and his name added to it just kind of gives a little more pub. But again, it brings us back to all the terrible stuff from 2019 where, people are getting accused of trimming, and so.
Boy, crackhead, stop it.
Another one where Steph forgot to mute the mic. I love it. First show of the year, and he's already just yelling at crackheads. I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah. My cats just ate. And,
damn it, Angela.
All that food's kicked in, and they're running up and down the stairs. So all I hear is scratching along the carpet as they're hauling ass up the stairs and down the stairs and up the stairs.
Well, let's get into some fun stuff. I mean, we've had some kind of downer stuff there, but some 2019 stuff. It's the end of a decade. It's the end of an era, some things, but we just want to hit the year too real quick. what was the worst release of 2019, Ben? What was your worst release of the year?
Anything called Archives. I mean, Archive Signature Retired, Archive Signature, current
Scooby-Doo.
player, Archives Retail, Archives Hobby, Archives Inserts, Archives Parallels, Archives anything. Just
Agreed.
I think we're all in agreement to be different. I'm going to go with the amount of parallels in Prism.
Yeah. Prism baseball or just Prism in general?
Prism in general.
Yeah, some of them were pretty
base,
though.
Football.
So real quick, this is my little binder, and I decided I was going to do some fun because I don't collect many Kings, but I was going to do a rainbow of a Kings player from last year's Prism set and this year's Prism set. I got Bogdanovich for last year and Buddy Hield this year, but trying to figure out like what Prism's what and how people word it on eBay and versus what it really is. And I don't blame the people on eBay not knowing how to list it.
Right.
I still don't know if my thing's right. I'm working on it, and there's some really good smart Prism people out there. At Prism Hoops on Twitter is really good.
Reach out to Jimmy too.
Yeah, Kyle Dixon is really good with Prism stuff. So if you're looking for some there, run for good for life, right?
Yes,
good for life.
Run Good Life. Run
Good Life, James. He's going to be a good source for that as well. So. What was your favorite release this year, Steph?
Bias pick aside, not Diamond Kings.
Yeah,
Stadium Club.
Okay, so Ben, what was yours?
I was telling my dad right before the show. I was like, until Topps comes up with a brand new product that we've never seen before that just knocks our socks off, let's just go ahead and say that every year it's going to be Stadium Club. Until you come up with something better than Stadium Club, there's nothing currently that you can redesign that will be better.
The only Stadium Club set I never really liked when I was collecting was 90, was it 4 or 5, where it looked like they were using the old school label maker to put the names on.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? I just thought that was ugly. But 91 Stadium Club blew everybody's mind.
Yeah, all this recent stuff. I mean, Stadium Club is just ridiculously above everything else for right now. Until you can come up, I mean, you can redesign any of the other sets till you're blue in the face. They're just not going to be better. So you're going to have to eliminate something and come up with a new design that's better. And please do, because I will be absolutely ecstatic if you can top Stadium Club.
Mine to be like a little different was 2019-2020 Panini Prism Basketball. The reason being is just the hype behind it, finding it earlier in retail at a lower price than hobby, and getting to open it and how much fun I actually had opening it, and the color, and I think maybe with some of the cards that I was lucky enough to pull. It took me back to being like a little kid and trying to go and hunt down stuff and build the set. And I was making trades on Twitter to complete my actually now I have 2 complete sets to complete sets. And hey, I have 10 of these cards, and somebody else would say, hey, I need 6 of these, and we would make a trade, like a real trade, like 10 for 6. Like, it doesn't matter. We're trying to complete sets, or hey, I'm looking for this orange one. Do you have it? Yeah, okay. To me, that added to it. It was so much fun that we hopped in there and got it. The guy met at Walmart the week of Thanksgiving, and he was willing to say, hey, yeah, I could buy all this and flip it on eBay right now and make a ton of money. Or, hey, I can split it and let you buy some of it. I'll buy some of it and we'll leave some for somebody else. And just chatting with another collector that wasn't like all about the dollar at the end of the day. That was a lot of fun for me. That added to it. So Steph, what are your wishes for card companies in 2020? I stole this question from Ryan. I was on the Sports Card Radio R-rated podcast this week. I think it was on Saturday and aired. He put it out. It's about 40 minutes. It was great fun. Ryan's a really awesome guy. I think Uncle Rich said I actually outcussed Ryan, which is pretty impressive. So, then I brought some of that to our show tonight, but it was a great time. He listen, he and Colin listen to the podcast. I've been following those guys, and some people don't enjoy their presentation and stuff, but they give good information. They have a shtick to it. But hey, it is what it is. But I stole this question from him. So, Steph, what are your wishes for Topps this year?
For Topps, less retread of old stuff. We don't need a 100-card insert set between Series 1 Series 2. We don't need 84, 83, 85 inserts. We don't need the same. This is now going to be your 70th year, 69th year. Come on, something new.
Yeah.
Something
What about Panini?
Panini, I know the easy one here would be to knock the checklist, but in particular with the Prism talk that we just had, mark the parallels on the back. This is red, whatever. This is more so for like their football products where they have like Astral or Orbit or whatnot. Some of those in certain years, they're just not marked. And you have to know what they look like to know what parallel they are.
What about UD Upper Deck?
This is more personal. I can't find Upper Deck tins here. They're just not in the Dallas area, and it's not like Dallas is a huge market. Even though we had the Winter Classic today in Fair Park here, I'd like to be able to open the premium version of your base sets.
And what about, well,
nice
I mean, this isn't a major brand, but it's a brand that sells cards, supposedly. Leaf.
I'd keep existing, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, and not a knock against those guys, but the competition that they bring for what they bring, it in theory makes the other guys try to improve their products as well.
Yeah. Now,
in particular, like their celebrity auto stuff, the Pop Century.
Yeah.
Some of those are pretty nice.
Yeah. So Ben must have listened to the podcast that I did with Ryan because he copied all of my answers word for word.
Cheating.
What's funny is I didn't know you were on their podcast, full disclosure, and you're like, hey, here's a question we're going to do on the end of the podcast, right? So I happen to have a couple minutes, so I immediately responded.
You did. You responded pretty quick.
It was the first thing that came to mind, and then Tim's response was literally, I just was on the R-rated podcast with Ryan, and word for word, and I'm like, get out of town. So I listened to it after the fact and got to this, and I'm like, we couldn't have, like,
Bruh.
Literally. It's like, you're right. You probably have no reason to believe me, but yeah, word for word. My thought with Topps is, hey, we don't need stuff every week. Cut it out.
Yep.
You know,
my big thing was too much online product.
Correct.
Like every day of the week.
Right.
There was something they were releasing.
Well, and an idea from Disney here. I don't know whether you guys know this or not, but they won't release a movie in the same month that goes against another one of their Disney movies. So if they have a Pixar movie coming out in August, they won't have a Marvel movie until September.
And that's perfect. You want to do Topps now? Great. Okay, you're doing all these onlines. We don't need retail and hobby releases every week then. You know, if you're doing online stuff all the time, every day on demand, fine. If that's your cup of tea, then we don't need stuff every week or 37 out of 52 weeks or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. We don't need stuff every week.
How about once every 2 weeks?
You remember the old scene in Adventures in Babysitting when they're in the restaurant and Brad's like trying to defend Chris's honor, and he's like, you know, he's talking to Mike with Bradley Whitford's character. I'm not going to stoop to your level. And then Daryl says, I will. And he kicks Bradley Whitford in the pants, and he goes over the table and makes a big scene in that fancy restaurant. So Steph just said he's not going to knock Panini on checklist, right? So I'm not going to stoop to your level. And here I am, Daryl, saying, I will. Panini needs to release checklists on time. And by on time, we mean just, hey, 42, 72 hours before release. Not same day, not next day, just a day or two in advance. So give us a little bit of lead time. A week early would be fantastic. Upper Deck, they got to get another license, specifically baseball. I love the look of their hockey stuff. I truly wish we would have something licensed or even unlicensed in baseball. You know, I mean, Upper Deck's got to do something like Panini does. I want to see some baseball cards because they've got phenomenal designs. I can't collect hockey.
Designs and photographers, yeah.
Yeah. There's only so much money to go around, and I don't have enough to get into another sport, and I don't watch hockey, but I love Upper Deck's designs.
Yeah.
And then when I got to Leaf, I was just like, listen, Brian, you gotta stay off Twitter, dude. Your tirades and your I'm attacking, Mario or whomever this week, and then the next day you delete everything. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, never mind. We love that shit. We love it. Stay on Twitter. Stay on Twitter. Get on Twitter more often.
Yeah,
you're a social media manager.
Those I spot on with Ben. Like, man, come on, checklists are not that hard. Anyway,
yeah,
we beat that one to a dead horse enough. What is your wish for the hobby in 2020? Ben, what's yours?
You actually just said it, and so again, it's we're like, and maybe we've just been doing the podcast too long together that we're in sync. Less online exclusives. We just don't need. We don't need. You're the Lance Bass to my Justin Timberlake. You really are. We just need less online exclusives. We don't need. If you're gonna do Topps Now and Topps Living, great. We don't need Throwback Thursday. And if you're gonna do Throwback Thursday, we don't need the on-demand sets that kind of come out, or these new Vladimir Guerrero and Tatis and Bryce Harper X sets, and now Montgomery Club online exclusives, and it's just like, cut the crap. We don't need
it. Steph, what's your wish?
Plow the Beaver 2020 to get to the National again.
Hey, Angela.
Yeah, and where is she really?
I'm saying.
Mine's more hobby love. I think we have a lot of hobby love in here, but is to keep growing that and sharing. Part of it is I tweeted out a photo of my buddy Ethan, my friend's son who's 6, who went to his first hockey game a few months back, where he got a puck from a Predator, and he's all in shark gear, and he got his first puck, and he's all happy, but he's starting to collect those little teammate guys of the hockey players,
teammates or whatnot.
Yeah, and so he's got like 14 or 15 of the team so far, and he's got a handful of hockey cards. So I kind of reached out and said, hey, anybody have some hockey cards they want to send my bud? And I have like 5 or 6 people already reach out, and they're going to send some my way to give to him, which is going to be cool. He's going to love that. So more of that. I love seeing that. I love that. It's awesome. What's your resolution for your hobby resolution for 2020, Steph?
3084 by 1080.
Are you going to get a camera?
No. It's a joke I post every year right around New Year's Eve, because everyone's like, well, my New Year's resolution is this. And I usually just share whatever my desktop computer resolution is. And it's another way for me to expose
oh my god budget. What a computer nerd.
Yes, I did. No,
you probably use Linux still.
That's strange.
You're strange?
Indeed. Yeah, 1920 by 1080 is the joke that I used yesterday, but no, for an actual resolution, I would like to finish off at least another set or 2. I'm not far out from Upper Deck, I'm not far out from Stadium Club, and I'm not far out from Heritage. So I'd like to finish maybe some of those. And Fleer.
Nice. What about you, Ben?
I had this one in going into 2019, and I was okay at it. When I say okay, I failed miserably. I want to back off of buying so many autos and relics and countless parallels to really start to focus my money on filling in my 1995 through 2009 team sets. A lot of my missing parts of my PC, I need more of that. And the more, how many Matt Chapman and Matt Olson autographs do I really need? Once you do need them all, and that's where I get into. It's like, I don't have that one, and it's only $8 until you realize you've $8 yourself into a $300 hole.
Yep.
And that's on the heels of the next release, and then
and then you get rookies like Paul Blackburn, where he's in every release all year long, and so you're collecting nothing but Paul Blackburn autos, and then he never really ever pans out to being a major leaguer.
And there's 50 names per team. We all have the Paul Blackburn and the Dustin Fowler that, I was reading an article on The Athletic this week by Melissa Lockhart, and she went over her top 5 prospects in the A's from 2010 through 2020 with this is what I said then, and this is what I said now. And the names on that list if we relate that to the hobby and all the money you spent on these jack knuckleheads of Addison Russell and Jamile Weeks and Michael Choice and Grant Green, and it's just like we all have these guys on our teams that come, whether it's the Bowman products or they're the tops first, like the Paul Blackburns, right? And then they just get made product after product, and at some point you just have to say, I got one. I got two. Maybe that's enough. I don't need any more.
You can always tell who Topps is going to have a lot of autographs of is who the rookies are in Series 1. When that comes out, was it February 5th of this year, and the rookie checklist, those guys will have autographs in every set for a good majority of the year, all year long. No matter if they're good or not, they'll have the autographs because they are the early rookies. My resolution this year is to get my Giants and Royals team cards organized and cataloged. And I showed the checklist earlier to have those all put away so I know what I need to be looking for. I finally got like everything else kind of put away, so that's what I'm working towards, this year, and also providing better shows for you guys. We want to make sure that this is the best we can do, and a lot of it comes from feedback from our viewers and listeners, and we appreciate that so much. Definitely. And keep sharing with us because that's what helps out. A lot of you guys create this content. And we take it and we use it, and we really appreciate it. So
misappropriate. So two quick things. I definitely can't agree more on getting organized. Like I said, I just bought $50-$60 worth of supplies to organize roughly half of what I need. But as well, Ben, we already went over this. You can't bash Grant Green. You're not okay. For anyone else paying attention that doesn't know the story, he shares my birthday, month, and year, so we're kind of related. It's just I'm better.
Probably baseball too.
I will cut and paste my Grant Green PC.
Any extras you have, send them my way.
And I will cut and paste it and show you just one of many guys on her article that proves the point of we just don't need this much crap, especially of unproven players. So if Bowman is your thing, hey, more power to you, but just curb your enthusiasm on it because a lot of these guys don't pan out, and you could probably go back a year or two later and gobble up a lot of this stuff at a fraction of the cost if you're a team collector. And I'm speaking specifically to you, Ben. me, because I don't need it right now today. Spend a little extra if the guy pans out and gobble it up for a lot cheaper. Like, Logan Davidson. He came out in Bowman Draft. If he's the next Matt Chapman, fantastic. That's great for the A's. And I will go buy his stuff at inflated prices when he pans out. And if he doesn't, if I really need it 2 years from now, I can go get it for pennies.
Yep. That's what I did with Bubba Sterling.
Yep. And why we would want it 3 years later when the guy's trash, who knows?
Yeah. I'm doing a show this week at the Crown Plaza in Sacramento off of 80 and Madison from 9 to 4. So, come out and hang out. I'll be there. We can talk cards and see what I have. I got some new inventory and some new stuff to put out. So come and check it out. It'll be fun. So any final thoughts, guys, before we run out tonight? All right.
You guys had a good year.
Yeah, just one thing real quick. Our friend Rob in the chat had said his New Year's resolution was to be on the show this year. Foul ball. He's got this awesome 58 collection. DM us. We would love to have you on if you want to just do a 15 to 20 minute spot at the start of a show to talk about your PC and whatever's under the sun. Fantastic. Yeah, you want to do a collector spotlight on a Sunday? Yeah. The three of us will set it up with you, or if you want to hang out like we always extend all of our guests, and you can do a 15, 20-minute spot at the top of the show and then just hang out with all the topics. Cool. You know how to get a hold of us on Twitter.
We just need to get a calendar.
Yeah, we just got our collective about the cards resolution is to start scheduling people for specific days. Because we've talked to a lot of people, come on the show. Our friends Dan, Korean Cardboard, we've talked to him for 2 years about it now, and we've yet to meet him on the show.
Anytime.
So, yeah, if you want to be on the show, if we've extended an offer and kind of let some grass grow, hit us up. Let's get you on the schedule. We want you to come on the show, and that would be fun. So,
go
ahead.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Just remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central, 11 Eastern, and like 1 Korean.
Make sure
following day though, Korean.
Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. You can always follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. Follow Ben at our Trading Cards. Follow Stefan at Junk Wax Twins. Always follow me at Big Chef 79. Please share your hobby stories and great pulls and send your questions our way, and keep collecting. We appreciate you all. We will see you next week.
See you guys then.